Storytelling is for everyone. Again, this is not just for writers. Every writer has to have a grasp of story, but I think all of us have to have a grasp of story as well because this is just a part of human nature. This is how we make sense of the world around us. Because a story, when you think about it, is just kind of taking all of the chaos of life and everything that happens to us and around us and compartmentalizing it and organizing it into something that makes sense to us. I think this is just the way our brains are wired. It's how we make sense of the world around us. And with that being the case, this is how we're able to connect with other people. Stories, the biggest power of story, I think, is its ability to connect people. And so starting to look at it that way, if you meet someone on the street and say hello and have, exchange some small talk, you're going to get a sense of who they are on a very surface level. But if you know a story about them, even if it's just the smallest, slightest, most mundane thing, you're going to feel a stronger connection to that person. You're going to understand them a little more. It'll help you to develop more empathy for other people in your life. So looking at storytelling as a means of connection is essential if you want to be a good storyteller. Similarly, story is a means of expression. I think that's if you're from the perspective of the storyteller, there's a saying in writing, you should write to express, not to impress. And I love that quote because it just takes so much pressure off of us as storytellers. If we're called upon to tell a story or if we're writing a story, you don't have to be the most impressive thinker of your generation. You don't have to be some literary giant or some incredible, impressive person. You just need to give people a sense of yourself and who you are. That's the only thing you have to do as a writer. So don't worry about trying to be important. Don't worry about trying to impress people. You just want to tell people who you are in whatever way you're going to choose to do that. And that's what's going to create that connection. That's what's going to give your stories weight. And that's what's going to resonate with your audience. And again, it's just part of our day-to-day lives. We use it every day. We encounter it every day, whether we realize it or not. And starting to recognize that will be really good for you as an aspiring storyteller. On that note, you have interesting stories to tell. And I think this is something that we all probably grapple with on some level because it's easy to feel like, you read these literary masterpieces or the stories of these impressive people and think like, well, my life is nothing like that. I'm just an ordinary person. Nothing's happened to me. I don't have anything to say. But that's absolutely 100% not true. And so many people feel that way. And even if you feel that you have interesting stories to tell, you're going to go through those phases of feeling like you have absolutely nothing. You have just that resounding self-doubt about your own experiences. But I promise you, you have interesting stories to tell. And we're going to go over everything in this course that you need to kind of bring them out and bring them to life, polish them up a little bit, and make them resonate with your target audience. And on that note, it isn't just your experiences that tell others who you are, it's your perspective of those experiences. So that also takes some pressure off. You don't have to have had the most incredible thing happen to you or have done the most incredible thing. You just have to have a point of view on things that happen to you. And once you start to think about your take on the world and your take on events of your life, that's the core of your story. And that's what people are going to resonate with because that's what you're going to be expressing and that's what others are going to connect with. So remember that it's all about your perspective and your point of view, not so much about the events and experiences that surround that perspective and point of view.